Good day, everybody. Welcome back to Dialar's Twi'lek Tactics. In this video, we're going to be going over another Eternal Evolution character deep dives. Today, we're going to be looking at Artas. Artas is one of the first characters you're going to get in the game. He's the alien we all know and love with that cool energy sword. So, Artas is a Vanguard character, which so is Crete. And Artas pretty much does what Crete does, but not as well. So, we'll get into that. But you'll use him even after you get your Cretes. So let's dive deep into Artas, shall we?
Alrighty then. Okay, Artas, there's mine. As you see, level 150 AT is immortal plus 3, I guess. Plus 3, since Crete is just immortal. Immortal, I guess we'll call Artas plus 2. 2 gems. So, as I said in the introduction, Artas is basically a lesser version of Crete. Now, of course, their talents are different and they do different things, but basically they're the exact same type of character. And you're going to be using Artas until you get a very good and properly geared Crete. Now, Artas and Crete are both Vanguards. So a Vanguard, as I said in my introduction, is a hybrid tank DPS. And you're going to gear Artas dependent on how you want to play him. So first, before we get into gear and talents, let's go directly and talk about his skills. So basically all of his skills inflict damage based on a percent of his defense. As you see, his ultimate damage increases 720% of defense. Damage increased to 590% of defense, 420% of defense, and then he's gonna apply something called Vengeance. So Vengeance, each stack of Vengeance he inflicts on somebody, their damage reduction is going to be lowered. So he's gonna, like this, as you see, Vengeance. This is a buff to Vengeance, so with each level, the decrease or the let's just read it. Each 5% HP loss will further decrease the damage reduction of the enemy by 1.8% up to 70%. So basically he debuffs your enemies and makes it so their damage reduction is lower, hence they take more damage. I know there's a lot of like double negatives in there, you got to think. So Artas, his attack power, if you want to run him as an attack hero, is based on his percent defense. So now, given that, let's go into the gear. My gear, as you see, I'm running 2 defense sets and then a hodgepodge. So if you were going to run him for attack, we'll say, for if you want to run him as a more of the DPS side of the tank DPS hybrid, you're going to run him all defense sets. You're probably going to run defense percentages on the gloves, hand, and boots, right? So then basically he's doing the maximum amount of damage that he can do. But that's not how 90% of you are going to use him, at least not in the beginning to late mid game. Because he is a really good tank and he will serve as a really good solo tank with 2 healers, 1 healer with a good healer, right up until late mid game. So if you're going to build him to live as a tank, because he is on the squishy side, I would recommend health sets. So what is that called? That's let's see, that's called Vigorous. I would recommend Vigorous sets. You can throw in some of these defense sets, so I would recommend all health sets. But if you want to do like 2 health sets and a defense set or whatever to make your stats work, the primary thing you want to do though is you want HP on your gloves regardless of the set. You want HP on your head regardless of the set if you're running them as a tank. And I still recommend HP on the boots just to really ramp up his HP. Damage reduction, maybe. I'm going to recommend HP percent. And then on all your other pieces, try to go for either a defense percent substat or a health percent substat. As you see, I'm doing the best I can here. This one has a defense percent substat, HP percent, damage reduction, which is also a good substat to go for, and defense percent. We got nothing really good here, but this was a defense boot with an HP primary, hence the reason why I'm running it. And this one has a defense percent substat and, more importantly, the HP percent primary. So you get the picture. Build him like a meat popsicle. The defense, the more defense you can give him, the more he's also going to do damage, which is nice. But you need him just to live so that your true damage dealers can get the job done. So, screw off, wifey. So that's kind of the lowdown on the gear. Either build him as attack or build him as a tank. Now, if we look at his exclusive, it is not necessary. I think I overdid it on his exclusive. The extra defense and damage reduction, more importantly, is nice, but not necessary. The resources for exclusives are hard to come by and they cannot be reset. So spend at your own peril or at your own comfort level. Lastly, talents. I used to actually have a lot more talents filled out, but since I got my Crete, I reset his talents. And actually, you know what? Looking at it, I did not reset his talents. He still has. I would recommend, if you're building him as a tank, max out all the HP. See, 3 of 3 there. Not quite maxed out there. Didn't even touch it there. I just went for the big dog. The big dog, 11% HP. I also went for the big dog defense because I had the stuff. I had the extra materials laying around. And again, there's 3 out of 3. You can avoid all of the attack ones. So this one, don't touch it. He doesn't benefit from attack percentage. He doesn't benefit attack. Yes, it is going to make him do a little bit more damage, but it's not necessary for either the DPS build or the tank build. Yeah, HP is good there, but that's just extra HP. Really, that HP and this HP and the main talents are probably all you need. So, since I got Crete, I don't run him as a solo tank anymore. But if we look at, say, let's go look at my arena, my Galactic arena. If we look at my defensive teams, you see I got my Crete team, but now I also have my Artas team. And I'm still using him as a tank because we have to field multiple teams in multiple game modes, and it's much more beneficial to have a tank that can also DPS, and Artas does, apply debuffs to the enemies. So he's still very, very, very valuable as a tank, and then I actually have a true tank as my team 1, right? But I intermix these teams as I need to. So one other thing about Artas, the game will give you lots of copies, but you kind of do. I still recommend putting him in your wish list in the advanced. As you see, I still, even though mine's immortal +2, I still have him in my wish list. I want to max him out before moving on to somebody else. I still have Randall. I still have Laron in my wish list. They will be until they're done because they're very, very, very useful characters that are going to carry you right through endgame. Can you get them from here? No. You can actually buy his shards. Yes, there's one right there. So you can actually buy more copies of him in the advanced summon area as well. And that about wraps it up, guys. I hope you liked this deep dive into Artas. He is a very complex toon. I started out and I just did what they told me. I just kind of ran him as an attack dealer because the game is going to give you, what's her name? Oisa? The game is going to give you Oisa first. So you're going to move to, you're probably going to use her as a main tank, and then you're probably going to use Artas more as a damage dealer. But I don't like Oisa, really. She doesn't do any damage. Whereas Artas seems like he can still take the hits and do double duty putting out the damage. So I hope this guide helped you guys. pushed you down the proper path, be that what it may. If you enjoyed this guide, please put hyena in the comments. I don't know why that was on my brain. I'll catch you in the next deep dive video, guys. Cheers, peace, bye-bye. Catch you later.